What's up, y'all? My name is Brian Douglas, founder, maintainer of Open Sauce, and going to be talking about insights and open source contributions. So let me go ahead and share my screen and jump right in. So last year we had the opportunity to actually talk to Evan Yu about Vite right before the 2.0 launch. And after that conversation, we ended up switching all of Open Sauce into Vite. So super happy to be a part of this community, to be contributing, not too much contributing upstream, but hopefully soon, because that's what our goal is, to actually find open source contributions. But I want to mention, I'm going to quickly just give it a quick demo of what my fuller talk will be. This will be sort of like a sneak or a snack of OpenSauce.pizza. And yeah, I'll jump right in. Yeah, so Open Sauce is open source intelligence dashboard. We've been indexing Git repos and providing insights on top of that. So we've been messing around this for pretty much all year. I've been working on this full time for the past 3 months and really happy to share. Finally, we have a URL, which is insights.opensauce.pizza. This will be the home for all of our insights and dashboards. For the time being, we'll be supporting Hacktoberfest to provide insights on all those repositories and identify things like spam and contribution. So definitely check it out. But I wanted to really just start the stage here real quick and talk about like what GitHub offers. And not that we're trying to compete directly at GitHub. We want more people to contribute open source and leverage GitHub. But I do want to point out that GitHub actually has some missing pieces, or at least a part of this feature. So when you go to the Insights tab on GitHub, this is what it looks like. This is for Vite. And this is all the contribution in the last actually 4 months, actually 5 months at this point. My math is off. And the biggest top 2 contributors is Safi and Batak. And just wanted to point that out because a lot of people don't know you could actually grab just like one section of the calendar to then find contributions for that time. A lot of times when you look at contributions, it tells you indefinitely since inception. And sometimes you just want to know who's contributing recently. We want to answer that question in open source pretty easily. The other thing is like you don't really get insights on what actually is happening. You get blobs and you look like distribution and activity. So you see Anthony had a big push earlier in May. Bluevy contribution across the board for a while. And it's good to see this because then you can see who's active and who to reach out to if you want to get unstuck or unblocked on certain things. But open source, like we believe that you shouldn't have it to know the secret sauce in order to contribute. Like we want to share that secret sauce, and that's what we've been doing with our platform. And so this is the same calendar. It's just flipped. So today is on the left. We're going to switch it back to the right. But anyway, this is distribution of all contribution in the last 35 days. Because a lot of times when you want to see if a project is active or see who's around in the community, you want to look at like who's been contributing recently. And that's what this is. And these are representations of pull requests. But right off the bat, you can see in the first quadrant, you have 7 days is the last 7 days. And already you can see there's one person, Safi, who's sticking out from the rest. And if it was any higher, we'd probably be concerned about bus factor or knowledge transfer, but it's still okay below the 50% mark. But what I want to point out is that actually seeing this distribution, now you have an idea of like across the team or across the community, what's happening. But we're still in the same position as GitHub, where you can't actually see all this context unless you open a bunch of tabs or a bunch of PRs to see what kind of contributed to what release. So with open source, we want to make this easier. Here's all contributions that are happening in the last 35 days, or particularly Safi. So it's not just one PR, it's multiple PR, multiple commits. And we see like the top one, 736, that's how many lines have changed up in the top right. So it looks like there was some dependency change. So like maybe the package lock file. I didn't look into this actually prior, but there's a lot of changes in dependencies, which is why he's standing out from the rest. But the good news is most people have the same sort of size contributions. Things are easily tracked and reviewed. So it's hard to always review a large PR. The other thing that we were able to do is actually index based on line. So we can do some heuristics in identifying whether it is a maintenance change, so if it is a package lock file, or if it's actually new code, new features added to the project, or if it's just refactoring. So files are still the same, but things are moved around, functions are moved around. So identify things like this, and I meant to circle that, but identify that type of stuff makes it easier to know what types of contributors are they casual contributors, are they active contributors, are they maintainers. Those are things that we're hoping to start surfacing through this insight. So we're just getting started, looking forward to ship way more. We want to go past just green squares and identify opportunity for contribution. So if you're interested in chatting more about your project, or if you have any projects in the Vite ecosystem, we would love to chat and see if we can provide insights for you. So check out the full talk and yeah, enjoy the rest of the show.